There are many horror stories we get to hear every day. At times, we find ourselves trying to make sense of and believe that these dreadful stories must be all fictional. But then, there are a few that hit you right in your face and tell you no matter how tragic and sad they get, they are true. And the story we are going to discuss today is one such terrifying story. Excited? Well, then, let's check it out. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Crime Time. In this video, we're going to talk about the story of a notorious serial killer who used to murder on the highways. More commonly known as the truck stop killer, this story is going to be both thrilling and terrifying. So get ready and let's get started. The story of the truck stop killer dates to the 1990s when a state traffic police trooper spotted a truck idling at the side of the Arizona highway. The patrolling officer's name was Mike, and as he saw the truck, he approached it to see if someone needs any help. Who would have thought that Mike is approaching a serial killer? Yes, Ben Rhodes, who was driving the truck, was not a normal man. You would get the idea of this man as I tell you guys about the dreadful crimes that he did throughout his career as a truck driver. But for now, let's get back to the story. As soon as Mike approached Ben, he asked if he needs help. But then Mike found a young woman lying in the back of the truck. She was wearing nothing and her body was chained to the truck. Even her mouth had been covered with a gag so she could not make any noise. Mike described the scene as nothing less than a scene from a horror movie. Upon witnessing such disturbing sight, Mike inquired Ben about the situation, to which he said it was all personal and consensual. How delusional one must be in order to say that a woman who is chained and is wearing nothing would allow it herself. So obviously, Mike wasn't convinced, and he arrested Ben on the charges of kidnapping and assault. After he handcuffed Ben, he searched his truck, and there he found an automatic pistol of .25 caliber. It was at that moment that he realized that this was no ordinary scene, so he called for backup and stayed there. When the state police took him in and checked his record, it was a shocker that this man was nothing but a crazy criminal roaming freely out there. His records showed another important aspect of his life, and that was the record of his father, who was also a criminal. So, considering the legacy, one can say it isn't very shocking to see the son achieve new highs in something that his father had already started. So, when the state police Arizona detained him, now it was time for interrogation. And that's when it was found that this man wasn't just a cold-hearted kidnapper. He was a murderer. In 1990, Ben Rhodes pleaded guilty to the killing of the couple Patricia Walsh and Douglas Siskowski. He confessed that he picked up the couple on the interstate highway, who was hitchhiking. In fact, Patricia and Douglas were newlyweds and they were enjoying some time together. But who knew that their fate would meet them in the form of Ben, who picked the couple, and after getting rid of Douglas, he took Patricia along. He took Patricia as a prisoner for a week, during which he used to torture and rape her. Douglas' body was found later in the same month when he was killed and thrown off, but it took around 13 years to find the body of Patricia. Even authorities had given up on the search, and it was a deer hunter who found her rotten body, and only through her dental records, the authorities were able to identify her. So after the confession of his horrific crime, Ben was detained. However, it was the murder of the 14-year-old Regina K. Walters which got Ben the life sentence. As once again, he picked up the couple, Regina Walters and Ricky Jones, on the highway in February of 1990. And after killing and dumping the body of Regina's boyfriend somewhere along the highway in Mississippi, he took Regina as his prisoner, shaved hair from her head and private parts, took pictures of her in a black dress, and kept torturing her for weeks. It was more than 2 weeks that Ben kept Regina as a hostage, and after torturing her with fishing hooks, he finally killed her using a baling wire garrote. Such is the history of Ben's vile crimes that he committed. How cold-blooded one must get to become something like him. But then Ben Rhodes was a sadist and a sexual predator. It was all found after Ben was prisoned for the murder of Patricia and her husband Douglas. In prison, he kept confessing to his crimes. Regina's body was found in September of the same year she was taken hostage. By then, Ben was already in prison, serving a life sentence for the murder of Patricia and Siskowski. So once he confessed to the murder of Regina and her boyfriend, he was given a double life sentence. The prosecutor who conducted the trial of Ben's murder charges said that he had conducted trials for several crimes, and many of these crimes were of great evil. However, when Ben Rhodes entered the courtroom for his trial, I could really feel the evil. He said, "I am working as a prosecutor since 1979, but there never has been a point when the hair on my arms stands up seeing the face of the criminal." Justice could only pin 3 crimes on Ben, but the crime agencies say that Ben Rhodes has the blood of at least 50 girls on his hands, which makes murdering 1 to 3 women a month. His truck was well equipped with all the tools that one might need to perform such nasty tasks. According to the authorities, there was a compartment that was nothing less than a dungeon, and inside the compartment were handcuffs and other torturing items. After all these crimes of this man surfaced, Ben Rhodes was committed as a serial killer, and to this date, his story is notorious because of his distressing activities. Among all these depressing stories, another story has emerged in which a woman named Milliken appeared in public and told the authorities how she met Ben on the highway. Fortunately, she was able to escape from Ben, but not everyone is as lucky as Milliken. While Milliken got out of his truck alive, though according to her, she paid by offering him free sex because Ben said he never offers rides for free to anyone. Lucky Milliken came back alive. As in other cases, we don't know how many atrocious cruelties Ben committed on these highways and how many lives he took before he was prisoned, where he will be spending the rest of his life. So that's a wrap on this very barbaric story of a truck driver. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to the Crime Time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.